Okay. All right. So we're live. Go ahead and get this show on the road.
Well, welcome to Planet Collingwood, and we are going rogue. We're on D Live. Thank you, Zerilath, for helping us out here.
We are
Because studio.
delived to have you.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah, excellent. Put that on a t-shirt. Mainly because Revolution Radio Studio A is actually having maintenance, so it can work. And so, at least my YouTube and we'll have a chat and archive because I know there's people that can't get the radio, and so they wait, all three of them, for Planet Collingwood. So, big thank you to the moment of silence that we had for on Studio A, and if you feel inclined to donate to Revolution Radio, so the maintenance can be fixed. It's not like a hostage situation. I'm just just doing the spiel. Freedomslips.com, and getting message from Viking.
Oh, good. I was just about to message him.
Yeah, well, if you message him, because this is why I need a producer. So just pretend I'm Sean, but less knowledgeable, and we can have the classic days of the Steve and Sean show. That's a lot of S's. Yeah. So are you messaging him?
I just said, yeah, I want to hop on my D Live. Monty is doing the show recorded live here.
Oh, there you go. But that's very Planet Collingwood because there's no backstage here. It's all up front. So it's like, but you have these conversations. What about if someone's recording you? I broadcast live globally. I'm not really fascinated by that. So
yeah, we're just merely a small group of men having an open conspiracy to liberate the world. What's your problem?
Yeah. I mean, come on, peeps. Come on.
I mean, look, if Charles Schwab can come out as the Emperor, then certainly we can come out as the Jedi, can't we?
Well, yeah, and we're talking original 6 parts. The Skywalker saga, where none of this sequel trilogy. Oh, there has to be balance in the Force, so there's only one Force user on each side. That's not how it works. Someone didn't read their Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey. There's a dyad and a Force. It's like, this is a bad marketing. So it's like, yeah, I'm sure we can get into all that horse hockey. But anyway, I'm kind of thrown because there's no music. So I'm like,
well, we can. Well, what's really fun right here is that we could just do whatever. You want some music? We can grab some music.
Well, Viking will be joining us soon.
Yes.
So he'll be ready when he's ready. So
okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I have the constraints of YouTube, so no copyright stuff because I'm not that big enough to upset YouTube yet.
Right.
So,
well,
but I can give you a report on my status as a channel, and I'll just go to my app.
Yeah.
By the way, 534 subscribers.
Very nice. I'm glad you passed
Yes.
me. Getting a claim doesn't put your channel in trouble, by the way.
Well, I'm not earning any money either, so they'll probably just overlook that. So,
well,
but you give it 3 years, and then
well,
I will get rid of this because.
Actually, the real problem is that I know that you can't see a lot of my YouTube content because I often play that little winter sun track at the beginning. And that is copyright claimed, and that restricts your vision in Australia.
Yeah, because it's global, but the DV region 1, 2, 3, and 4, and some and having unique tastes like I do, Steve. We have to buy from the band from Finland because people buy up the rights here in Australia or region 4, and they don't release it, and it's like you. Utter butt. So
it might work.
It's annoying.
It might work on other websites though. I like BitChute. Like I put a lot of things up on BitChute too now. Been doing that.
Oh yeah.
lately.
Well, that's one thing. I'm sort of like just YouTube. I can stick on one, and then we can go to that, and then YouTube is YouTube, and so there's like 14 different things. It's like, oh man, it's just trying to keep. because I was on MeWe, but I didn't engage with it. I'm on Parler, I don't engage with that. Instagram, Twitter, and it's getting to the point you need 5 minutes just to say where you are on the net. When it's like, oh, just where can people find you? Well, item 16.
Well, you see, I mean,
You know,
for me, it's pretty easy. It's just like you can find me as Zerilath across all the platforms. You know,
well, there is, yeah.
yeah,
You thought that through. That's good. I like that. So.
yeah, yeah.
Where now stuff has happened. We're what day 57 of the US election. So over it. It's kind of boring now. Where I think it's worn me down. Where it's like I don't care who wins. Really, the whole system's corrupt. Let's move on. Well, that's kind of the positive thing that came out of it, is that most people have gone. Wait a minute. You're saying the corrupt system is corrupt? Please go on. So it's that fun part of like, whoa, well, where do we go from here? And of course, I think we have to get into 2021, so people use of the calendar of, like, I actually saw someone tweet, after 2020, I think we owe 2016 an apology.
Yeah, something to that effect.
Well, if you remember, 2016 was actually where a lot of famous people transitioned.
Yeah, very, very true. Very true. I can't even remember who were the major people that transitioned in 2016. And don't say Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, well, that's a dead naming thing, Caitlyn Jenner hasn't won an Olympic gold medal, but anyway, moving on. Well, no, Bruce Jenner did. He did very well.
Yeah.
Moving on. It's like Alan Page and whatever his name is now. Like, he's Elliot Page. He's done great work. No, he hasn't. Alan did really good work. I saw someone actually tweet that. So does Elliot Page have to give back all those Best Actresses awards? That's the fun part of transitioning in names. And I interestingly enough, I watched a lot of Discovery, Star Trek Discovery last night, and they've actually got a character going with pronouns, and it just sounds so weird. I'm not a her, I'm a they and them.
Right. Are they still berating? Oh wait, no. I'm thinking of Picard. Discovery doesn't have him in it.
No. Discovery seems to have Michael. I think that's a mispronounced French word of Michelle, because they haven't explained why she's called Michael. It's a pet peeve. I need to move on. So Michelle keeps crying in every episode. It's like, you're crying again. It's like, wow. Starfleet officers apparently, and you watch this going, really? But the character that has their pronouns changed is actually a human, but it has a Trill symbiotic thing. So she's got one of those little sluggy things in with it. So technically, it is they, because they're two entities.
Well, at least they were using science fiction as like a segue, saying like, you have to be infected with something in order to consider yourself not what you are.
yeah. But mainly, like, I don't mind the story, and because the production quality is high. But if you get rid of all the wokeness, it's like, this is a good idea.
Hi.
Now just get a Star Trek fan.
My name is Steve, and we identify as a tapeworm.
Yeah, yeah. I have a cold, so I have a virus, so my galaxy inside me has these pronouns Z in it.
Yeah. Or we could just go back to Stargate with the gold.
Yeah. I blame David Wilcock for me getting into Stargate, because he said, season 1 and 2, it's soft disclosure. 10 seasons later. That was awesome. I just couldn't stop. It just made me...
Yeah. Well, I mean, Wilcock was right about that, but, he's also a fraud.
Oh, well, you can't be if you, let's see. Well, we're not, I don't think there's many Christian people. The Bible, 10% of it's probably truth, but the rest of it's like, I don't know. So it's good marketing. That's all I'm going to say. I've just scanned across. I have no idea. I had a point, but that was about 7 points ago. Planet Collingwood, ladies and gentlemen. So,
Well, you were
also, since we are on D Live, throw a lemon at Steve, and that is not a act of violence. That is a what's the word I'm looking for? A good thing,
a
because the currency
monetary
of the
contribution.
yes, yes, yeah. Fling a lemon, and so don't pick up your lesbian sister, and throw her at the screen. Just,
Heh.
yeah. Yeah. Well, every time, yeah, sling us a lemon, and my comedic brain goes, lesbians? Like, stop that. So, I recently watched, yeah, because I can't think of, it'll probably come back to me because that's very Planet Collingwood. Uh, I watched Lauren Southern actually released her latest documentary today, and 1 minute after being released, the website crashed because so many people wanted to watch it. It's called Crossfire. I recommend it to, especially if you're American, I would recommend it because it just goes through the how did she describe the social, economic, the political, all the crap that's been happening, especially in 2020 and leading up to it, where Antifa and Black Lives Matter and defund the police, and basically what Lauren actually does when she picks a subject, she points out that everyone loses. Like, have you seen her documentary Borderlands?
No, no, I haven't. I haven't been too keen on a lot of the modern docs lately. Reality horror no longer is appealing to me.
Oh well, yeah. Well, yeah. If it pops up on your on your radar and it resonates, it's fascinating because she obviously she has her own agenda because she's a human and that's how we work. However, the whole Borderlands thing is basically the migrant crisis in Europe, and she talks to everybody across the board. And basically, the spoiler alert, right at the end, the human traffickers are the only ones winning. Everyone else is losing. Crunching in the background, because like she talks to talking to Ethiopian men and just a lot of Africans in Paris, where they were sold a lie, where Paris is a city of gold and you'll get a job and you'll make a better life, and most of them are homeless. And so the only people benefiting from the entire thing, apart from global twats, the people smugglers, because they make oodles amounts of money, but the local population have to deal with homelessness and crime, and then you've got people as well. Like she was in a refugee camp which was huge, in Spain, and it's just really hard. Like she was with refugees trying to get into Turkey, and she was doing the border crossing with it. It's a good film if you want to watch it. And with Crossfire, she talks to psychologists. They go through the data of, police are hunting down black kids. It's like, well, no, because in the last 12 months, police have shot 9 unarmed African Americans. They shot 16 white people, unarmed white people, but they touch on the media. Basically, you get to the point where there's a nice section. Basically, the media is lying for whatever reasons, and it's just fueling the whole fight. But she does a nice piece on Antifa. Basically where they're terrorists because they just burn, punch, and loot, and
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Did this was this filmed during 2020 or
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It was filmed this year. She tried to get into the US and got rejected, and so she's wasn't there, but her director, if I can remember his name, hang on.
She's Canadian, right? So her deal is between
Yep.
Canada and Europe, right?
Well, she actually married an Australian and has a child, so she's I think in New South Wales, so she's living in Australia now. Where am I? Because I shared it. No, I've gone too far. I shared it in. Yeah, there we go. Scooter Downey is the director. So the interviews still went ahead, and they talked to I think 3 or 4 policemen,
Mm.
and two of them are, that whole they're in the shadows and they've got the voice modulation, and they just explain their experiences of being a policeman in the United States, where um, it's hard enough, and then you had all this George Floyd crap. I mean, George Floyd didn't have to die, but he's also not a saint, and it just ramped up, like how Minnesota is losing police officers, and it's really weird. Some people like Antifa, like, yeah, it's the president's a dictator, and it's, fascism, and it's military, and by removing the police, the army will move in, and they'll create what they're fighting against. Idiots.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, like I'm wondering about, like, if Antifa started to, I'm wondering if there's a split in Antifa for that, because, like, I know some guys that, they're kind of, well, I used to know, I've distanced myself from them, that, are kind of, they're pretty much Antifa themselves. I don't know how much they've actually done Antifa things, but, it's the camaraderie of the concept, flying the flag, being a part of the social media of it, they're coming out of that world, it's that aspect of leftist nerd culture and things like that that have also destroyed, all
Can I
of our
share
nerd culture.
a thought with you?
Yeah,
Because I thought about this, and you're 100% correct. And there's I can't see. I only watched it once, and so it just flew by. It's 2 hours long, and they're talking to a guy where rallies are exciting and protests, riots, and so you can sort of that mob mentality of, like, you would never throw a brick at somebody, but in the heat of the moment, you kind of get, you get egged on and everything else like that. My realization was is we know that there's the corrupt systems there, and on that very small premise, they're the same as us. We're fighting against the corrupt system and want freedom. However, they've just gotten a taxi and gone to retard land, and, like, you know what I mean. They're actually part of the problem.
yeah, exactly, and that's kind of like, like, just a split of, like, saying, like, well, hold on a second. I think maybe some of those conservatives were right, because why did we burn down that black woman's business?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah,
that that
like
kind of that kind of thing, right? And
yeah.
this is why I kept saying on your show a few times when it was properly live. It's like, nah, I don't think there's going to be, like, you're not going to see the armies of Antifa rolling. They blew their load, as I said. They shot it all off over the summer, which, in the manner in which it was managed, it gave Trump the ability to get certain federal level legislation passed, in a way that kind of prevents a good deal of that kind of damage from happening in the future. Plus, public opinion has completely turned on them. They did isolate themselves with this amount of time that has passed, right? And
Yeah.
there's still plenty of liberals in the world, obviously, and some of them like voting for pedophiles. I don't know why. Probably because they don't want to believe in, the depth of investigation that can prove it, but that's okay. Long story short is, it's little terrorist things is where it's at, and then it's going to fizzle out. And that's if we even get little terrorist things. I'm almost surprised there hasn't been much of that at all, since the last, like, kind of like March on Washington, or whatever. And, that's because even if the culture wants to get rid of Trump, which it doesn't, but if it did as a whole, as a nation, wanted to actually get rid of Trump, they definitely are not interested in the social justice warriors, because they're not sure if they're crazy or not, because it's
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
understood that they're crazy, which is why they flocked to an old neolib like Biden, because they're terrified of anything younger than Biden, and that's largely why they did it.
Yeah, and also you've got the thing of going with you add Soros, and even if he's dead, the organization's there, and they're paid provocateurs. And I think, was it? I think it was at the start of your summer. There was this big thing, and the police or someone in authority actually gone, you know what? Let's arrest these people. And everyone that was arrested was hung out to dry because no one offered their bail or anything else like that. And I saw a couple of people complaining. We were told we'd be looked after. We were paid, and it's like it's not a natural cause where they're just dressed in black and they're destroying everything. They're getting to the point of murder, and they wanted to destroy the United States, which doesn't make sense because they're against the Constitution, which is said in the film. And it's like, well, why are you there? Like, I mean, it's not a perfect system, and there's ways of trying to change it, which is sort of what Trump's.
And how many of these guys are American citizens, especially natural born?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep. And it's really weird, like the roller coaster of going on. Like, it still pops on my radar where the stimulus package, where it's like, really? Where I think it's $2,000 net. You would know a bit better because you're there, but it was 600. Then it's 2,000, and then they're vetoing. They're ignoring Trump's veto on the Afghanistan thing and blah blah blah. And there's 5,500 pages, which they're only allowed 2 hours to read before they voted. And it just the whole corrupt system's been exposed, which they couldn't, like, say 2 years ago or even before Trump. They could hide it with distractions, or that's just standard operating procedure, business as usual. However, it's 2020, and like if I can use an analogy of Hollywood and their movies, Wonder Woman in 1984 came out, and because there's no other films, everyone just jumped on it. And so in less than a day, everyone knows everything about it, and it's not good. So it's like people are sort of that normal stuff where you have movies coming out once a week or twice a week, or stories, but that distraction's not there anymore. And so people's focus is pinpoint. Even going to work for 40 hours a week, that distraction's not there.
Yeah. Warner Brothers is incapable in their live action film, their Hollywood productions. In their animated series, they can, although Teen Titans Go is just stupid, but they can, in their animated stuff, do great stuff. I know more about like Batman from Batman the Animated Series than I do from the comic books. Especially because I wasn't a big DC fan. But what I do notice is that of everybody in the Justice League, they don't seem to quite understand how to do them, except for Batman and Superman. And it's a little annoying. I mean, it's fair because Batman and Superman are the co-leaders of the Justice League, but it's the fact that like they couldn't just do proper Wonder Woman. You're working off of the goddess Diana archetype. This is not like rocket science. It's paganism. Okay.
I've got a listener. Can you give me the link in chat to the D Live so they can listen in?
It's dlive.tv/Zerilath, and let me throw that in here. Gotcha.
All right.
Who's which chat room is that going in? The Revolution Radio room?
No, the Skype one, just the Skype.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I didn't think of joining that, so I'll just send him that. I guess I could go, because people ask if I could do Studio B. and Spaced Out Radio's on for another half an hour. So I didn't think it would be worth doing
Right.
just an hour. So what are you gonna? You're loading. Oh, what are you doing? It's just being stupid. Okay. Firefox is freaking out. Oh, probably it upgraded. I've got the latest version. Of course.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for that.
You should be using Brave, man. Firefox, I'm told, is compromised. I used to use Firefox. I liked it, but I heard it was compromised, so I checked out Brave.
Okay, is Brave on Mac?
Probably. Look it up. I don't know. I'm a PC guy. But I hope so. Brave. I think is the best of the ones available for PC.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm in the chat room, so I'll just put in Planet Collingwood is live on that. There we go. So, yeah, because people are asking. I've got fans. People are asking where I am. So I didn't think of like, well, yeah, we're doing it. And then I realized I'm sure people want to listen. So, anyway. So hopefully that's all working out for us. And, well, the thing about, you were talking about Wonder Woman. They could do it better. It's like, yeah, they've got, what, 70 years of source material?
Right.
Like, so really?
I mean, I thought the movie was okay. Like the original movie that they did before Justice League. Like I thought that was okay. That one had some really great like moments. Like the one where like she sees the guy doing like a thing or something, and she goes, "Oh, you must be so proud." I can't remember exactly what the setup for it was, but I remember I and the whole audience laughed. It was a genuinely good joke. And it was like it was her having her fish out of water. Because she's a little bit like Thor in the first Thor movie, like a god foist into a mortal's world, and what do gods do among mortals in the pagan universe? They uplift them. Gods in the pagan world really like humans in different ways, which is why we like to honor them in the pagan world, because it's fun. We don't have to worry about the whole guilt thing. It's not a part of the modus operandi.
Well, that too, yeah. So it's just there was 3 writers on the Wonder Woman film, and Zack Snyder was one of them, and
of course he was.
This one, none of those were involved, and so it's lacking. So, but apparently they're doing a third one. It's like, okay, so classic Hollywood, you fail upwards. So that it's getting. Yeah, I'm 2020. I'm over it.
Yeah, well, it's classic everything. The guy who pisses everybody off and makes by failing something is the one that gets rewarded in just about everything in our lovely ass backwards system.
Yeah, well, Joe Biden's a perfect example.
Exactly.
Where it does make me chuckle, the whole thing of, I've been in government for 47 years, but let me have a go now and I'll fix it. Well, you could be the problem. I'm just putting it out there.
Right. Well, it's very simple. Let's get the guy who is probably the most scared of having a cough, who happens to have a cough, and have him make all the judgment calls on how to handle this crisis. So what is Joe going to do? Joe is going to think about being as selfish about holding on to immortality as possible and use that to set domestic policy. And this is how we're going to get a totalitarian state.
Well, I think we won't even get to that because there's no enthusiasm for him. It's so lame, and they're just happy it's not Trump. And I think after a year of dribble, it's like, crap. And you have midterms, which means in 2 years, the Senate and Congress, some of them are up or something. So it'd be interesting to see how that unfolds.
We have 2 years to we have to completely We have to laser focus on election fraud. Because as
Well,
long
yeah.
as long as their election system is above above suspicion, with a corrupt justice and investigation system and all these different things, it will never matter. It will never matter. You will have, Newsom right now could be governor for life as a vassal shell of the CCP. Like, these are things that people are very, very worried about right now.
Yes, and that's like the whole system where to just basically figure out my own reality. There's two timelines. They're very similar. Trump gets in and America gets slightly better. Biden gets in, America gets slightly worse. I don't see it like people are jokingly say, I don't want to freak anyone out, but Mad Max was set in 2021.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that's kind of okay because that's before the nuclear war. It's when
and
it's
I've
when you
made
get to the Road Warrior where there is a nuclear war.
And I made a comparison somewhere once on the internet, saying that Australia and California have one thing in common. Both have been depicted as Mad Max because Tupac, who was surrounded with every black conspiracy of the last 40 years, is the Tupac murder. He made the California Lovin' or Dreamin' or whatever it is music video, which was Mad Max as LA, as California as a state. And California and Australia are both the subjects of artificially created droughts and forest fires.
Yeah, that's why the eucalyptus tree can grow there. So I think it's probably the same distance from the equator to the sun, if you follow.
Yeah,
so
on the opposite hemisphere, right?
Yeah, and so that's why I had a inkling of I could go to Austin. It's an aim, maybe a goal. I'm giving it 10 years, so the United States settles down.
You're going to start New Austin, Australia.
Yeah, I like that. Because I've been watching Joe Rogan, and he moved there because it's Texas, and they seem to have this thing about freedom.
He likes the pump with Alex Jones, and that's about all there is to it.
Yeah, there's that as well. But their unofficial slogan for Austin is "Stay weird." Like, I think I can hang out here. So we'll see what happens. I may stay here. I don't know what the go is. Because things seems to be in flux, or I'm calibrating on a spiritual level, but everything's nuts at the moment. So it's just taking one day at a time. It's like we're all spiritual alcoholics. Just one day at a time. Just one day at a time.
I'm gonna take 3 seconds upstairs, so don't expect me to respond.
Well, thank you for telling me that. That's to be fair. That's nice. See, politeness. That's what. I don't know how many people are listening, but if you're listening to the replay, hello. Thank you for being here. I'm just going to have a sip from my specially made cocktail, which is basically 1/5 wine and 4 parts water, because hangovers suck at my age. And it's not a new idea. The Romans did that. They watered down their wine 2,000 years ago. So awesome. And yeah, so bit of a recap. Studio A on Revolution Radio is down for maintenance, which is kind of good. So it can be fixed for the new year. Revolution Radio turns 10 in about 3 days. And so the longest running crowdfunding project on the internet till someone points out that I'm wrong. And it's up until about 2 minutes till 6, because it's 6:41 here in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Hello from the future. I didn't think I was doing a show, and I thought, well, that's so 2020. Like, we do, it's the last show of the year. We could do a recap and try and move forward. And no, it's like, nope. And then Steve said, should I de-live? And then I've gone, click. I could still do something. So at least I can put it on my YouTube, and people can listen to me now, getting a bit time traveling. So
I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah, excellent. Just 2020. I'm just. It's the 30th of December here. I'm so over it. So, well, in 2 days the calendar's going to change. Huzzah! And then I still think people have been saying, yeah, you think 2020 is bad. Wait till it turns to 2021. It starts drinking. And it's like, well, I'm Australian and legally it's 18 here. But anyway, uh, um, cool. Cool in chat from John. So I think he may be in chat. I don't know. So.
He's I got John NJMJ121 says okay, think I'm in. So that must be him.
Oh, excellent. So yeah, keeping it live, keeping it real. Just
John,
have you seen those memes? Describe your job in the worst way possible. It's like I push air. Well, that's how sound travels. It's you make the vibration through your vocal cords, and the air bump into it as the frequency goes through.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so that's probably the worst way of saying that I do radio. I push air. What else? I recently saw, just this week, I saw 3 different videos of things falling from the sky, and 2 of them are really freaky. One was in, I believe, West Virginia, where it wasn't an asteroid, because asteroids sort of sparkle as they burn up. The different elements and metals and stuff spark. But this one looked like the ship from Futurama, and someone had the handbrake on. It was going really slowly. And it's like, well, that should be going a bit faster, but it was on flames. And then there was another one, I think, from the West Coast, where a flaming ball of something came in, and then it separated, did expand like an Oort cloud in space, and then it separated, and it looked like a UFO. Its cloaking device was broken, and it was trying, and it didn't. I think it was a loner. The Palladians was like, yeah, we'll just let our sun drive. Oh dear God, no. And it was just spiraling and all this type of stuff, and it's like, what's going on? Meteors or asteroids or rocks from space, they kind of just fall from the sky and probably break up and then land on the ground. This one was doing donuts, and if you remember the Norway spiral when Obama turned up for his Peace Prize.
Yep.
It was similar to that. It wasn't exactly the same, but chunks of this UFO that broke up and it split and all that type of stuff, and it was in this Oort cloud, so it looked like a mini galaxy, and they were spinning around, and it's like, I think the night shift were on, and the helmsman is like, I'm supposed to be on comms. What's going on? And then bang, 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 bang. Yeah, it was very comedic, but also a bit freaky for the general public, because like burning rocks don't do that. And there was another one, I think, in Florida where it put itself out and then it started up again, and yeah, so whatever is going on, it's kind of weird, but yeah, I'm just tired. That's basically that. Well, how are you? How was your year? Tired and just over it, and still have to wear a mask. And a mechanic in the actual host chat shared kids that have been wearing masks 8 hours a day, and they're getting infections, and it's like, super ultra demon acne, and the masks are, overall the masks are unhealthy, especially with the masks that are designed that, but surgeons wear them. Yeah, but the surgeons don't touch their masks while they're doing operations. Once they touch a mask, they have to go out and sterilize again. And then you see everyone wearing masks and they're touching them and moving around and they're itchy. And it's also been reported that the virus itself is small enough to get through the fibers. And Dr. Fauci,
yeah.
who some people think's a god, and I'm like, really? Stop that. He had a report from, I think, 2005 saying that a lot of the deaths from the Spanish flu was actually after when the flu went through, because everyone was wearing masks, and they I think it was pneumonia or influenza or something, because the way that we breathe, we usually breathe out crap, technical term.
Yeah.
And it's one way of the body getting rid of bad stuff. And of course, if you've got your mouth covered constantly, you're breathing in the same air. Oxygen level drops. So I'm scared. I'm kind of scared. When I see people driving with a mask on, it's like you could pass out at any moment. I'm just going to hang behind you. Give me enough room. But it's the way that the government slash media have used everything, because on a basic level, I'll wear a mask. It stops the virus. You'll save people. Yeah, but and
Today when I was driving, and I did a lot of drives today, I made good money today. My first two customers, maybe I was wearing my bandana, but then I hit a customer, and I just got a vibe like, you know what? I don't think I need to wear the mask with this one. So I took some risks, and I think I skirted by the day without anybody complaining because I didn't get any kind of reprimand notification on my phone, and I'm pretty sure if I don't have any problems when I wake up tomorrow, it means that everybody was comfortable with my face. And I know I had one or two people that were open. Like I was listening to X22 report tonight in the car, and I had it down low because when I listen to a lot of my talk radio stuff, I keep it low so that way it kind of doesn't have any distinction, because people would rather it just go over their head as long as it's not loud and abrasive.
yeah,
But if they actually ask me, it means that they heard something that piqued their interest and they do care to know. This could go south. This could be somebody very interested in finding, okay, who are these schmucks that believe in small government that are ruining everything, right?
yeah.
Anyway, so I found out that there was a guy who he didn't know X22. I think he's like, I don't know. I wasn't sure exactly like how far down the rabbit hole he was. I think he was kind of surface level, but with it, like like you'll find that a lot of Trump supporters, they don't go down the rabbit hole, but everything's very clear to them via the way Twitter operates. And
Yeah, they know something's wrong.
and they pay attention to a couple things, and they maybe like Newsmax or something like that, right? So this guy was on that level and found out he was a Trump supporter, and we had a pretty good conversation about things. And and he lives in I live in Greenwich, but like it's Darien that's got the weirdos, the wealthy weirdos, because like they're a lot of those guys are like they got money, but they don't got Greenwich money. They got middle management good money, where Greenwich has bankster money.
Yeah, what's in a short sentence? What's the pandemic like there? Are the numbers going through the roof? Is everyone dying, or is it after 8 months? It sounds like your passengers they're over it because they're not seeing what the media's putting forward.
Connecticut, of all the blue states, kind of feels like it's worked out compromises within itself. Like, we're not punishing ourselves too badly. There's a certain degree of indoor dining going on, especially because outdoor dining is now pretty much not happening unless you've got full enclosure for heat. And I don't know what arguments, but that would be a good argument why, if you're going to have a little bit of indoor dining, that kind of thing. Business as usual. A lot of places that bother with the mask. An even mix nowadays of people that don't have to wear masks that aren't. Like, it's definitely declined by a significant portion. And time will tell when it gets warmer, because some people might be wearing things like bandanas because it's cold, and using the mask as I never thought about it before, but keeping my face warm when I go out, I don't usually do that. Maybe I'll do it because, people feel better if I wear a mask. I can imagine that's going on in a lot of people's heads. So we got to see where it comes via spring. But I did notice that with the solstice, with the grand conjunction energy, and the people, I think people are trying to be normal again. I think that they may be still kind of scared of the whole thing. Like the mask may be like a serious issue for them, but like if they're going out in the first place, there's that going on. Things get really quiet after 10 p.m. by and large. Like business will, for me as a Lyft driver, will just plummet like around 10. And besides the fact that you're not really having proper bar and live performance, the group thing, like they've made it very manageable here, right?
Yeah. I think after 9 months of stuff, it's that balance of like, well,
yeah, I think so. I mean, there's still been damage here, like the rest of the country. Like there's still places that went out of business and all those things, because we were in higher phases and we definitely had certain cities that had case spikes, like make certain decisions left and right, and it's it's been very psychologically frustrating, but it's definitely been better than the way New York tried to manage it.
Well, yeah, New York is unique. I hate that verbal exercise.
Unique New York, Anchorman.
Yeah, that's basically the one. Yes, yeah, it helps free up the mouth, and so you sound good in that. But it's I guess that's the other thing because we've got all this data now, and personal experience of like, really, do I have to wear a mask? Like here, we have to wear masks basically inside like a shopping center or like a mall or a supermarket. But when you're walking out and about, if you social distance, you don't have to, which is kind of good in Australian summer because it can get really hot. Hasn't turned up this year yet. I think January, February, March, our heat is about a month behind, and it's been going like that for a while.
At least that's following some sort of logical train of thought, because it's giving you out places for wearing the mask, right? Which you want to make sure you're holding that line and eventually pushing back on it, because we don't want to see this medical Islam thing happen to us.
I think the fear's sort of been rolled back because at the start of the year we're all going to die, and 12 months later we didn't. There's still a virus, and that's where people start arguing it. When you take the stance that there's no virus, well, there's something. There are people dying, even though it could be COVID's the secondary thing.
Sure.
But also,
and the guy in my car that was the Trump supporter, he had COVID. Like I talked to him about, like he had, he didn't have to go to the hospital, but his lungs did get torn up a bit by it. He had some of the more serious flu-like symptoms of COVID. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt that he did literally have the real COVID, right? And he's a guy who survived COVID in his 50s, and he's just like, we shouldn't be just doing this to people, it's like, the whole life gamble thing. He agrees,
Well, yeah, I mean that 2020, where at the start of 2020, quarantine was to isolate the sick. Now quarantine means isolate everybody, and it's the response from the government and the medical profession has just gone completely overblown. Like we've seen videos now. Of course, we know that science is now a religion, and there's gatekeepers and everything else like that. But the silencing of doctors who it's anecdotal, but there's still people get COVID and they give them treatments with hydroxychloroquine. I'm getting better at saying that. Of course, with it's just not by itself. It's with zinc and I think something else. And they're actually helping people if they get it, they find out, and they get in quick enough to deal with it. And I mean, I've seen an article on RT that scientists are baffled that influenza has disappeared. I'm like, and what are the numbers now compared to 12 months ago in the last 5 years? Because now, granted, I got this from a Torchwood episode from 2009, but apparently 33,000 people die a day globally. And so it's just that the media has decided to actually focus on it now. Imagine if they did this a year ago or last flu season, we would go through all this. It shows the control the mainstream media has. Like, oh, we're going to look at this now, and they just pump out all the fear. And the fear, as you would know, is a lower vibration, and that affects if you have anxiety and stress, it lowers the effectiveness of your immune system, and people are getting sick. Especially like I think the average lifespan here is about 80, 82, and we lost 800 people here in Victoria, allegedly. Now, obviously, they did die, but we have to figure, how did they die? But they're all over 80. And I'm not saying let's kill all the elderly off, but the thing, it's the response where everyone is at threat, and they're not. And this is because classic black and white, 17 shades of grey, and you can't have conversations with people because it's black and white. It's like, oh, you're anti-virus, anti-vaccine, you're anti-this, you want to kill everybody, compared to we're all going to die because of this deadly virus. It's like, well, it's kind of in the middle. And it's basically, in short, what we're seeing this year is government has failed, the medical system's failed, pharmaceuticals have failed, as well as small businesses and everything else like that. And yet the billionaires and the multinational corporations their profits have gone through the roof. And so it's been interesting being from the conspiracy world, because even in March when the lockdown hit, I would say about half the conspiracy world freaked out because they realized, oh crap, the stuff I talk about is true. But now there's line drawn, and big tech wants to clamp down on dangerous disinformation. And it's like, well, yeah, you keep saying Joe Biden won the election, and I wouldn't surprise if he gets inaugurated or they put him in. However, that just shows it's part of the Great Awakening, where people are going, well, because voting seems to be. Razorfist said, instead of burning things, go Antifa and BLM, our last weapon of choice was actually voting, and that's been taken away from us. And so people's perceptions of the system, it's the emperor with new clothes, if I'm using the right analogy, where you didn't need a 7-year-old to say the emperor's naked. The emperor's gone, look, I'm naked, and a lot of people are woken up to it.
Yeah. Fun fact: the Nashville bombing is a cover for hiding Dominion voting information.
Yeah, you've seen where the challenge of where. Did you hear a report that now it's not rumor, it's allegedly, because it's one person's observation. Someone working in the Supreme Court building was near the Supreme Court justice's room, and they could hear yelling, and I think is it John Roberts?
Yes.
He was, whoever blocked the investigation.
Yep.
And but I don't want to hear this effing thing about Trump and Gore. We didn't have riots back then. Instead of actually following the law and liberty and all that good stuff, where fair and balanced and do no harm, they basically ignored it. They'd rather have Biden in so the country wouldn't pop off and burn.
Mm-hmm.
Type thing. And it's like,
right.
Are you that weak? Are you controlled, or what? Are you being blackmailed, everything else like that? Because the system's just basically, it's just fascinating.
It's
From a
well
perspective here.
understood that Roberts is on the Lolita Express list.
Well, there's that too. See,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that QAnon. They've got these conspiracy theories. They think there's a small group of pedophiles running the country, and I'm like, what about Epstein, where there's a list of all this small group of people that run the country are on their flight list? La 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 la.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, and you can say the same. You say the same damn thing, especially in Canada, about Nygaard, Peter Nygaard.
yeah, that's yeah. Gelsing, what's her name? Epstein's secretary, whatever her name is. Apparently, she's still in jail. Well, allegedly, because who knows with the media. She's still in jail, but her bail was set as $37 million, according to the headline. I'm like, yeah, who's got a spare $37 million? I could buy many a house.
Well,
37 here in Melbourne.
the Maxwell family name is very powerful. Ghislaine's more valuable actually than Epstein. This is actually good. It's like, it's better. If I had to, if you told me who Epstein really was and who Ghislaine Maxwell really was, and says you can only have one living and accountable to the justice system, who it has to be. Oh, I'd be like Maxwell all the way. Jeff was. Because Jeff had all these certain connections, but she was the connection for Epstein to the whole shindig through her father. And then Ghislaine, she's a Bond villain and a half. If anybody who's seen that video that I posted about Terramore, she's part of a sovereign nautical colony that's situated in the North Pole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
Wow,
like she literally has like she has like a sovereign like sea base or something like that. It's its own frickin' nation.
Yeah, it's not ridiculous, but like if we talked about this 5-10 years ago, it's like that's very fanciful. But it's 2020, and really, it's like, well, that doesn't surprise me at all. Just through it. Everything's been exposed. Like it is kind of fascinating. I'm sure you'll agree with it that there's a great awakening. Well, people have woken up to that the system's corrupt, but spiritually, if you want to reach Christ consciousness, you're still in bed and you're trying to open your eyes. If I can say it that way, there is so much more.
John is saying that you might be able to take Studio B. Apparently, Rev Radio Chat wants you to take it.
Yeah, I don't have Studio B's contact.
Oh, really? Let me double check and see if I do. I might.
Yeah, because I've never been on B. I think I had it once or twice, but years ago. It's been a while. But if because someone's talking about Gerr,
okay,
if Gerr Bear wants to help out.
I think,
yeah, we could go.
I think I got it. Let me be 100% sure here that I'm interpreting this correctly and that B is clear, because I don't want to call...
Spaced Out Radio would have finished about 5 minutes ago, so I think we would have missed the break.
Okay,
but
all right.
We can go on B.
Okay, let me. I'm gonna pull in Studio B and see what happens. Oh, whoops. Uh-oh. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't do it. Hold on. I am sorry I did that wrong.
Yes, you did. I went on hold.
There we go. All right, that's better. Add. Boom. Okay, let's see what happens.
Oh.
Hold on. We're live connecting or something. It's calling it. Okay, it's not available. It won't answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if Gerr Bear or somebody wants to, it would be Gerr Bear would be the best guy to ask. I don't want to bother Gerr Bear unless we have to, because Gerr Bear deserves no stress.
Well, yeah, the in the chat it said they've asked Gerr Bear, and he said he could. He'll assist you doing B. So,
hey, okay, let me contact Gerr Bear. Hey.
Okay.
I'm told you can set, us up. Excuse me, on Studio B. Okay,
So-
all right. So we'll wait for Gerr to respond to that. He is green right now, so it should be good. We've been going for about an hour as it is, so we're halfway through what would be a normal show.
Yeah. I'm only doing 2 hours. Let's be fair. So as we play the waiting game's boring. Let's play Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Right.
Well, no, it's
so-
not good for audio.
So yeah, so I brought up the I brought up the Nashville situation, and so like AT&T was working on like some element of the Dominion system. I heard that AT&T was doing things that was apparently on behalf of the Trump administration. And so that's why this terrorist attack had to happen, is because it was their only way of fighting it.
What I find interesting, because they showed footage of like the minute before the blast, and there was a PA announcement for to get people out of the area, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of interesting. Obviously we have a polite terrorist.
Yeah. They didn't want to gamble on a full spectrum win because they don't have enough control for that anymore because of how much house Trump has actually cleared or cleaned. So this was focused on literally having as little damage and casualty as possible, so that way it can become eventually a forgotten event, because they can't sow enough confusion to make this a big deal for like anti-terrorism purposes and things like that, right?
So it wasn't really a false flag. It was a move for moving a chess piece in their battle. So it's not a classic false flag where the public they didn't really want the public to find out, but it needed to be done.
Yeah, precisely. By the way, Gerr says that he can with double smiley faces. So I told him to set us up. Me and Monty are live over here right now.
Yeah, so just add Gerr to the call, and then Gerr should be able to add B.
Yeah, I think that's the way. I guess that is the way it works, right? All right. Okay, everybody. This is our buddy from Revolution Radio, Gerr. We're gonna be throwing him on. I'm sorry, Gerr is. Wait, hold on. He was calling, and then there he is.
He's right here. How are you, Gerr?
Hi.
Howdy. Say hi to my D-Live people.
Just a minute.
All right.
I was listening to you gentlemen on Zerilath station.
Oh, you were? Thank you.
Well, because you can't hear you anywhere else.
Oh, for sure.
But some people in the chat of Chatsky want to see if we can pull in Studio B.
Yeah.
And leave it like it is now, because Steve's got it coming on another.
Basically, yeah, we'll just do B to the for the next 50 minutes, because.
All right, let me see if I can add Studio B.
Excellent, because I didn't want to take B and spaced out radio lose an hour, because that would be highly rude.
Right.
So
and I'm I'm recording this, and if Revolution Radio wants to have this for their archives, I want to be able to give them this for their archives.
Well, that's fine. I just want to see. I know that Studio B is dead air. Dave ended his show, so let's see what I can do here.
Sweet.
Yep. Just saw Mr. Rowe in the chat. www. Oh, he's been queued. You can use B. So we have permission by our almighty master, the Rowe Nation.
I'm connecting now and see if it's coming.
Yeah, it should be just able to add to this call using.
I hope so.
Unavailable. I might have to grab it myself and then.
Right, because
I'm not
Yeah,
getting it like this.
yeah. If it's the Revolution Radio Live Connect, it gave me the same answer. I apparently do have access to it, but it won't answer for me either.
I'll just go and see if I can get it myself, and then go from there.
Yep.
I'll pick up here, and I'll see what I can do by itself. Okay.
I'm being waved at
I'll,
by. Okay.
if that's the case, well, I don't know. I'm just trying to do what I can for you guys. So I'll hang up.
Oh,
here,
well, actually,
try to
just
grab it.
Just Revolution Studio B just basically waved at me, so I think Rose just sent me the thing.
All right.
So I'll try it, and then if that doesn't
You
work,
try and bring it in here.
yeah.
All right, I'll stand by.
So just go like that. There we go. Yeah, it's not Live Connect. It's the just Studio Revolution Radio Studio B. That's the one we're using it now. So I'm calling it, and we're waiting, and we've been joined. We're on B, ladies and gentlemen. We've come home.
Good job, Monty.
Thank you very much, sir. You're most welcome to stay around if you like.
I'll hang for a minute.
Awesome. How's everything in Vegas?
I don't pay attention to much news lately, and be honest with you, I do know that New Year's Eve they're closing the strip down to traffic like they always do, so it's going to probably be a good New Year's Eve from 9 o'clock till midnight, and they'll do the fireworks like they do every year. So I haven't done any more rubbernecking on it, but I know that the police and they organized it just like it is every year when they shut down the strip.
Yeah.
For the people, and then all the people just get on the strip and party. So I'll be abreast of things to let you guys know. Go ahead, you guys.
Excellent thing. Well, yeah, you're listening to Revolution. I should do a bit of a promo. I can't really say if you've enjoyed the last hour and 15 minutes. It's like you've been listening on D Live, but we're on Revolution Radio. This is Planet Collingwood. It got knocked out of its orbit, but we're on Studio B. We'll be on here for another 45 minutes, so there's something to listen to. If you want to help out the station, please donate at freedomslips.com. We're 100% listener supported and 100% volunteer. And yes, a big thank you to Gerr and Mr. Rowe. Just the fantastic workers in the background, because Steve just said, you want to D-Live? It's like, Studio A's down. And then I realized, well, I can just go on D-Live. What am I doing? Why didn't I think of that? Mind you, it has been a full moon, so that's probably why I'm a bit scattered. So, see, there you are. It's just affecting Mr. Bear now.
New moon
So
in
yeah,
Cancer.
we're on B. It's good to be back on B.
Yes, sir.
Be well. Be well. Carry on, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yes. And if you're on D Live and you feel like helping out Steve, sling him 1 or 2 lemons. I'm not sure what the currency conversion is, but a lemon or 2 does help out.
Cool. Yeah. Sorry. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just gonna click on it and leave a message if you like.
It's just. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's just
Yeah. John is inquiring about how lemons work, and I'm not entirely sure what he hasn't figured out yet, because he's speaking in riddles to me.
Well, it's the last week of the last week of 2020. There's a full moon. It's like there's a reason why they're called lunatics. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people, because they're stuck in that, 2016 was terrible. Oh, that's right. We've got to get back to that in a second. But people think when the calendar changes, it will get better. Their mind shifts. Oh, it's 2021 now. The future looks bright, and the astrologers are like, but 2016, to answer your question, which was who was the first to go, Lemmy from Motorhead died, I think, the 26th of December 2015. He found out that he had cancer because he was very poorly, and you could see like the last couple of shows that Motorhead did. It's like, wow, he's a hard rocker, and it's all held up to him. He passed away in 48 hours after finding out that he had cancer. That's God for you. It's like, nah, I'm going to go now. And then I think David Bowie was January or February, and that just started a whole avalanche of celebrities moving on.
Yeah, yeah. 2020 took Eddie Van Halen from us for one.
Yes.
Yeah.
People have used a meme of like, when did the timeline go wrong? And they say, oh, when David Bowie went. No, it was Lemmy,
Yeah.
and then Bowie's gone. Well, if Lemmy's gone, I'm going, and it just went nuts. Yeah, Eddie Van Halen. There's a lot of people actually. If you're into British comedy, there's a group called the Goodies. They came up around about the same time as Monty Python. They are fantastic. But Tim Brooke Taylor. They say he died from COVID, but it could have been just he's very old and his immune system couldn't deal with it type thing. I did notice very quickly. I did notice that on Twitter, people are pointing out, what's wrong with the Biden-Harris administration? Well, do you know in California it is not illegal to tell someone that you have HIV when you have sex with them?
Hold. It is not legal.
You do not. Yeah, you do not have to disclose that you have AIDS, HIV when you sleep with someone. I think that was made legal this year, and it's like, you what?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wouldn't that's not first degree murder, but it's almost manslaughter. It's still like I think.
Well,
you may
here's the
want to
thing.
know that.
Here's the thing. Like, HIV, is not what they tell you it is. Just like, coronavirus is not what they tell you it is. The same campaign, in understanding of virus contagion spread, even for an STD, was Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci is the guy. He picked up the initial, like, there was an original guy who did the HIV/AIDS research, and then that guy, something happened to that guy, and then Fauci picked up on that research, carried it, and then ran it to the conclusion of a certainty that HIV causes AIDS, and if you have HIV, you are a ticking time bomb to having AIDS. This turned out to be actually a lie. Because Koch's postulates was never satisfied for HIV causing AIDS. Dr. Shiva Ayadurai, who worked harder than anybody else I've ever seen in politics outside of Donald Trump, and they had to cheat to beat him in Massachusetts running for Senate. He explains this stuff, understands this stuff, thinks that Fauci should be under arrest for kind of a national malpractice in many respects. And he's carrying on the work because he's a public figure outside of politics, just because he cares about being a messenger. He lives up to being Shiva, to being a god
Steve,
of the mind.
Steve, he ran for some type of office up in Connecticut?
Massachusetts Senate.
Okay.
Yeah, he was supposed to beat Robbie Kennedy, and in the primaries. 'Cause I think Robert Kennedy Jr. is a Republican, and I think he lost to Robert Kennedy Jr. But I think then Robert Kennedy Jr. lost to the Democrat that he went up against. But Dr. Shiva ran in the general primary as a write-in, and pressed hard on a write-in campaign.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dear listener, I just want to prove something to you. I can prove that myself, Steve, and Gerr are all the same as Bill Gates. You want to know how we're all the same as Bill Gates?
Yeah.
We
don't have a medical license either.
So, too true. So why has he got so much? Why does he have so much juice?
Well, he's got a lot of money, and people think it's so weird that why are we going to a man?
I think his father, with the what he studied. Steve knows what Gates' father studied, something about I can't think of the word for it, but
He comes from a line of eugenicists.
There you be. Thank you,
Mind
Steve.
you, I've just had a thought. Steve, Gerr, and I haven't been thrown out of Africa, so we're not the same. I keep forgetting that.
Oprah Winfrey is though.
Yeah. But I just saw an article like, the top 5 books that Bill Gates read this year, and I'm like, I really don't care. Why is this man? I mean, he's a good businessman, sucks at computers, and I'm supposed to take vaccine advice from him, who couldn't even deal with viruses on his own network.
Well, he's not really a good businessman. He just knows how to steal a good business.
Oh yeah. It's just like, yeah.
You got to remember,
also,
this is the guy that robbed Steve Jobs of the visual, like the graphic based point click interface that we now use today across all operating systems. The Windows style.
Wasn't that didn't Xerox approach Steve Jobs and then Bill stole it or something? Yeah, it's a B-grade movie. It's a television movie, but it is fascinating to see. I'm not sure how much of it is based 100% on truth, but there is a couple of 1 or 2 movies about Jobs and Gates and the whole computer revolution.
Well, there was the movie Antitrust, which I don't think I ever saw it, and I caught the butt end of the Jobs movie with Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And yeah, Xerox had it first. Thank you, Toronto. Sorry, not Tonto. I found out what that means. Where tonto actually means fool in Spanish, apparently. Like, that's just great. That's just ruined that whole Lone Ranger thing for me. So it's Toronto. And yeah, I remember Sean David Morton saying the story of Gates actually went into Apple or Macintosh can make the washing machine, but people buy more soap powder, and that's sort of his business model. And what was it, the late 90s? They had to break it because he had such a monopoly. They had to break up the company.
Which company had to get broken up?
Microsoft.
I don't remember. All this.
Well, I do remember.
It's in the realm of things that give me a headache to go into.
Yeah, that's fair enough. There was a comedian here in Australia. He would do covers of like Frank Sinatra and Frank Bennett. Tony Bennett, and his stage name was Frank Bennett. So you can see where he got it from. But he was talking about Bill Gates, and he said, "Just 2 questions. What's so micro, and why is it soft?" So that's a joke that stuck with me.
He actually said that somewhere.
Yeah. Well, he's a entertainer and comedian.
Okay, because that's a meme. That's a meme going around with, if you've ever seen there's a picture of Bill Gates, and he looks like he's he's laying down, comfortably on I don't know, it's like a rug or something on the floor. And, with his PC computer, I don't know, almost like a girlfriend on a date or something, laying down with the computer, smiling at the camera, taking the picture, and it's just and then it's just hey baby, let me tell you why they call it Microsoft.
A good meme that I saw today is you've got the Spice Girls. But they're all standing holding a bit of cardboard with lettering on it, and the last one they replaced the head. I think it's Sporty Spice, but it's C. Montgomery Burns from The Simpsons, and it's like, if you want to be with my lover, you have to find the jade monkey before dawn. Made me laugh. Oh, did I throw you with a 90s reference?
No, not at all. I'm just. John is still trying to solve the riddle of the lemons, and I don't know how to explain it to him.
There's a title.
I thought it was fairly intuitive myself. So
I like. Let's write a book. The riddle of the missing lemons.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's all just weird. So, week 52 of 2020. Yeah, nice idea. Let's not do it again. So I hope everyone survived the solstice and the conjunction and the full moon and Christmas. And I've got a feeling most people don't really watch the mainstream media. That's kind of good. I've noticed that, like the big person that even as Gerr said, it's like it's not on the radar. It's because there's so much disinfo and the pattern recognition of it's an emotional roller coaster of like if you're following the battle of the election between Trump and Biden, if you take a step back, it's like nearly no, nearly no, nearly no, and it's like someone's just taking the mickey. Like they're just the stress, and it's a deception. Now, obviously, most people on this station, listeners, would lean towards Trump seems to be the better one out of Biden, and the system seems to want to have Biden, and I guess I'm leaning towards like the next phase is in 1 week. My show will be on the 6th of January, but it's in the morning, so we won't know what will happen. Is it Congress, Steve? Where the Electoral College vote thingy, crappy, whatever stuff?
They're going to meet in Washington, D.C. on the 6th. Pence is supposed to bring the decision. And also, there's a mass of citizens going into D.C., a mass, like Woodstock. Is the skinny, I've heard, a friend of mine from San Diego called me about last week and said, Gerr, do you know anybody in D.C.? I go, why? I said, I have relatives there. He's like, I'm on my way to D.C. I got to be there the 4th, fly in the 5th, and leave state, come back home the 7th, and I need a place to stay. I'm going to the thing in D.C. I haven't done any much research. I think it's Trump that's inviting all these people, or I don't know the deal, but if that's the case and they do decide that it's Biden, I think it's going to be a very big, could be trouble with all the people there. And then also if Trump gets it, I think it'll be peaceful. But here's another thing, another theory I've heard, that they're trying to prolong it the way they have. And if they prolong it till at least the 20th, and they don't have a decision yet, they can assign Pelosi in as the new president.
Did she win her, was her seat up for re-election for the election? And
I'm not sure about her. She's ahead of the House of Rep.
Yeah, she's the Speaker of the House. Yeah, so I was just wondering if
being
she's
in that position, the scoop is that she could be, if they delay it that long and play reindeer games, that they can bring in I would call her the whore of Babylon. It's either her or Kamala, if you're going to go that route with that thought process.
Yeah, but I think that will backfire. Like they'll probably do it, and like she's been hinting at it, and like if in hindsight, which is a superpower that everyone has, that she actually said even if Trump doesn't leave the White House, we'll have our own inauguration and he'll be gone and we'll blah blah blah. So apparently there'll be 2 presidents or something. And it's basically a hint of what do you know, what has been planned. It wasn't I mean, it's a weird statement, and I know that hasn't been one on the planet for a while, but it wasn't a natural election where the will of the people has been exercised. Sorry, Jay, go ahead.
I want to say that here's another theory. Dory got a hold of me the other night. We went on Keith AZ's show.
Oh yeah.
And so it was a big surprise. A few people have come back into my life of lately related to the station, but that's another story. But me and Dory got off Steve's call and we're talking about what she had to say. She goes, Gerr, the tribunal's going to happen. Trump's done all these messages, all these ways of setting this up to bring down the swamp, and you just got to be patient. So I wish she was here now to give it better detail, because I'm just giving a rough estimate of what she says. Just keep praying. She says that things are going to turn, and a lot of people are going to go to Guantanamo prison and so forth. So that's another theory. That's just another theory.
Yeah. I was going to say, go ahead, Steve.
I was about to say, I mean, like, I do think, like, regardless of how a lot of this stuff turns out, you know, I do think that because of what exists on military intelligence level that is outright patriot, that I think that Trump has the ability to drop an arrest like at the snap of a finger, practically, because of something he's been holding on to probably since he made the phone call that got him impeached in the House. Okay, so I think I think that this is just, it's playing itself out, and maybe January 6th. It depends. If Trump is completely screwed over by January 6th, then Trump may wait until a little bit closer to January 20th. Like I've been saying, 333, by the way, for East Coasters. I've been catching these time portals all the time now. I used to never catch them. So for me, this is new. I usually do synchronicities and deja vus, but you know, I don't get those so much anymore, but I am catching these time portals. So just noting that. Long story short is that John Roberts has got to go. You know, like that leaked conversation, the understanding about the Epstein, the way he's been voting since the Obama administration.
He's no good, Steve. You're
right. He's a neocon. All right, we got a neocon who like those are are one of the fascist sects. They're one of the Fabian socialists running the country. You know, like he's the leader of that court. You know. When John Roberts,
there's also that since Barr stepped down, that he can become a witness now, and that can be part of the mix, because he's looked like deep state. He's looked like he's been not with Trump.
Trump didn't complain about Barr. Trump complained left and right about Sessions. Trump never complained about. I mean, he did a little bit, like in a couple of statements after the election. But he was very, very gracious to Barr when
that
Barr
could be a reason.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, it looked like to me Barr was deep state. The way he's acting, he wouldn't do anything go after the FBI or the CIA or anything that's needed with, you know, like just like Comey. You know, he's just always been like not too interested to go investigate. And he was against the voting thing and didn't want to bring anything up with that. And now he's slipped out. I was thinking he's not a good guy, but now he's become a witness, and it's just building up Trump's method of coming in there with all the shit and sending these guys to Guantanamo. I'd love it.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think that we've got some positive prospects, because like one of the interesting things that happened is that like the day after the announcement was made that Barr is leaving, that is when the Southern District of New York went across national lines to Canada and got an extradition for Peter Nygard, who's connected to Prince Andrew and Epstein, probably connected to the Terramar project, which I mentioned just a little bit earlier, the sovereign nation that's like a bond, like sea like sea colony of sorts. You know, where they do a lot of their nefarious evils. And so like that's the same thing like when the career level like attorney from the Southern District of New York, the one that was holding back, like when he fell, that's when Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested, if you remember, right? So Southern District of New York is doing things. Trump would be intimately familiar with the Southern District of New York.
Well, I get the feeling that something's got to break, because there's so much criminality that is happening that the people of the world going, come on, do something. And I'll throw this into the mix. All this could turn on a dime, to quote a phrase, is you have, I think even President Trump said, we need someone with courage. If you had an oath keeper actually follow the letter of the law, this whole, even if it's mid-level, not the higher level cabal, deep state stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if like the level of Clinton and Obama, that sort of level, are set up as a sacrificial lamb, so the high up deep state could go into the shadows again and do the whole system again and build up. But there has to be a break, and it may not happen in the next month, but I'm sure it will happen definitely before the next 4 years, because people are fed up where the criminality, like Wiener and Hummer, the Prime Creator writes the best jokes. All that stuff with the laptop, the Hunter laptop, Hillary Clinton with her, did you wipe your hard drive? What, with a cloth? It's that level in your face criminality. And I think this is, dare I say it, pushing the hope where Trump's going to do something. And like, say, if Trump loses, he may disappear for a couple of months and recover. But he will go out. He could easily go out and do a speaking tour, sell tickets for $20, sell out stadiums like Led Zeppelin, and do his stand up and do his stand up act, because he's a brilliant stand up comedian, and he can just release information and sway public opinion. We're getting to that point where it's not over for Trump. He may not be the president anymore, but he'll still be a major figure that people follow because, he got screwed out of this job type deal. And
well,
we just need those oath keepers to.
Those guys are weak. Oath keepers are poop.
Now, I'm not talking about the group. I'm not sure about. I know the name, but if you have the right person that can do something like, well, the law says this, and if I release this information, and because it's been mentioned in the chat, like Pelosi's not really loved by the military. And if you, even Biden, I think even Obama, they didn't want to give him the nuclear football. We're getting to the point, because it's been grinding on since 9/11. I've got a feeling someone, not a whistleblower, but someone's going to stand up and go, all right, enough. That person, here's the evidence, that person should be arrested.
I'm pretty sure most of the military is at a point where they really don't want to be following the orders of the organization known as the Democrat Party, because everybody is seeing this for what it is over there. That's kind of going around the vibe of the troops, of something that's wrong in that respect. And unless you've got like one of these generals or something, and he's got a bunch of Marxists rolling with him, which I don't believe that guy that called into Sean Hannity's show when Sean Hannity wasn't there was one of them. He was a true believer of some sort, but he wasn't like, up there. He's just a guy who he's totally down with the USSA. That's all I'm saying is that, he wants that paradigm shift. He doesn't care. He assumes that he's going to have it good, and everything else, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything other than he could be like Chuck Schumer's staffer or something like that.
Yeah. But it's slowly rising up the ranks of like something's rotten here. Something's rotten in Denmark, and it's like even Trump basically was cleaning house, I think, of getting rid of the Obama generals and all that. So I do sense that Deep State, Team Dark, whatever you want to call it, they're freaking out. They've lost. What we're seeing is natural chaos, not controlled chaos. And so they're like a wounded animal in a corner, and they're lashing out, and they're making mistakes. And at very interesting times, which I think is a Chinese proverb, which is also an insult. May you live in interesting times. Quiet, Z. I had enough of you.
Yeah. And unfortunately, enough unconscious idiots have allowed that curse to manifest.
Yeah, and you'll see the domino effect in the media where, say, 3 different organizations basically say, President Trump has come out and said this, here's the evidence, and someone famous has been arrested. You have 2, maybe 3, like, not CNN, but some high-level, supposedly credited news services. Everyone else will follow because they're still addicted to having, clicks and having the story first and everything else like that. So this is how close we are, and maybe that's the adrenal fatigue that I have. Like, oh, it's getting closer, and obviously it's the first shot across the bow in the whole spiritual war thing. But on the 3D level, it's gotten to the point where like it cannot continue like this. And like Hijacker says, Biden gets in and it's Nazi Germany times 1,000. No, because the world will not put up with that. You cannot. The New World Order has to come out from the curtain, and not everyone's going to agree with what their ideas because it sounds stupid. You're American. Explain America to me. Freedom, the Constitution, where it's supposed to be do no harm, but live your life, but do no harm.
I've got my most serious of doubts about the upper class of this country, though, right? Because unfortunately, just like during the Civil War and the American Revolution and stuff,
French Revolution.
The French that's the thing is like. In the various revolutions that we had, other than here in America, as long as those upper class people weren't bothering us, we were not interested in overthrowing them. But they would have to get used to using domestic currency instead of the crown's currency. Right, and so that's what they had at stake, right? So, like the upper class here, they're part of this quote unquote resistance that was coined by Hillary Clinton, right? To be the resistance to what Trump is doing, and then the resistance is also it's also an epitaph for in new Star Wars. In new Star Wars, it's not the rebels anymore; it's the resistance to the New Order, and so the New Order is the Republicans, and the resistance is the Democrats, because they need to psychologically play off of their various military-industrial complex entertainment wing, known as the Hollywood machine. The House of Mouse in particular, and that's what they gave us. So, it's those upperclassmen. The media relies on those experts, right? If there weren't experts that came to CNN to tell CNN that that there's definitely nothing wrong with Fauci, and Fauci's pretty reputable and a good guy, and he's the guy to listen to, then nobody would be listening to Fauci if it weren't for the fact that the experts. Like Fauci, the experts are kind of the reason why Fauci is there, and so it's systems. And the technocrats use their experts. Their experts are the scientific priest class of this scientism religion, which goes with a one scientific theory consensus on for each and every subject, and it's all highly agenda driven, and it's all very anti-human spirit.
Yeah, well, what I find amusing, where Hillary said, "We are the resistance," and I thought the resistance just won to go against you. You just it's just 8 years of Obama and Biden, where it's slowly coming out. Like my uncle, step uncle, actually said, it keeps every day it shows out that Obama was one of the most corrupt people on the planet, type thing, and that information's breaking the idea that Obama, because he's smooth and he's handsome and all this type of crap, and, he's a car salesman basically, but then you have actual facts that point out, like, no, he did this, he did this, he did this. I think what the United States, and correct me, or you gentlemen know better because you live there, race relations in the United States got much worse if I'm using grammar correctly, under Obama. Like race relations were going pretty well. Even Bush Jr. Well, we can talk about him and laugh about him for hours, but there seemed to be cohesion with humanity, if I can say it that way. But when Obama got in, that racial divide started to crack because, Black Lives Matter started under Obama, not him personally, but in his administration. And they only pop. You won't probably hear about them for another 3 years, but the next election they'll just pop right back up again. And very quickly as well, there are memes going around the internet saying the Obama administration scandal-free, and then just the responses you get under it. Number 47, Fast and Furious. Number 48. It's that illusion that nothing can touch Obama. And I think I saw a headline today that, and I don't understand it. However, Trump has broken. He's more popular than Obama was in 12 years or something. Did you see that, Steve?
I saw that. And I don't understand how how they weren't able to spin that. And that it was some sort of thing that that particular source had to admit was a truth, but hey, why the heck not? Let me tell you, ultimately, the racial divide issue when Obama came in, between the controlled opposition of the neocons, because when Obama came in, he had the Senate and he had the House, but there were very, very, very few patriotic Republicans. It was mostly neocons. Ron Paul was in there. Little would I know that I'd like Mike Pompeo as much as I do now. I still like Mike Pompeo. I still think we can trust him. I know that sounds crazy. But my point is, that after Obamacare got passed, I'm echoing. Why am I echoing?
That's Jeb.
What happened?
We can hear your speaker, sir. There, it's gone now.
So after Obamacare got passed, and all these criticisms came in, and as well as birtherism was lurking in the shadows. All of these things, they for reasons that we assume are because they were true, were all these things that was undermining the agenda of the Democrats, the agenda of the Obama administration, the agenda of the neoliberals, and the various communists that Obama was in bed with, and the various radical Islamic terrorists that Obama and the ilk of the Democrats were in bed with. So what happened is that anything that was a slight on any African American or any Democrat of color, starting in 2009, they would say that you were racist. They do the whole witch hunt angle of things. So this grew and grew and grew. The idea, they tried to imply that if you think that there was a conspiracy about the nation of origin of America's first not white president, it is because that president is not white and no other reason, because I say that your conspiracy is baseless, and how dare you shove evidence in my face?
Yeah, I never understood that. Where's his birth certificate? Oh, you're racist. No, a bit of a stretch. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go up to every black person in America and ask for ID. That's a very 1930s Germany. However, I'm just asking about one half African American, because his mother's white, and I don't trust the white bit. Right. Let's be fair.
None of these people want to be caught. None of these people want to be caught making a denial of the claim.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not because I'm racist. It's because he's the head of the U.S. military that have nuclear power codes, and he's supposed to be the leader of the free world. Why me asking where he was born and there's proof of that? That's not racist.
Well, here's the problem. You just ruined your own argument because you said he was leader of the free world. He's not. He's leader of these United States of America, but he also is controlled by global operatives to do things for the world.
Yeah. No, well, that's the media slogan is the because the USA is the prime superpower. China's bring coming up.
Oh, for
and
sure.
Usually,
that's the thing. But that's the thing. They're taking these narratives, and now they are trying to warp reality so they can retroactively legislate it as reality. So because Barack Obama is probably America's first anti-nationalist, right? It's just like they may have all been globalists in there since like FDR or something to that effect, but they didn't actively work to harm the nation. They couldn't have gotten away with that. But with the way everything shifted and in where our dumbed down consciousness had gone, they were able to do that. And 24/7 newspapers, Hollywood, and television worshipped him. Okay, you've been in we've been in the
coming up to about the top of the hour. Are you guys going on, or are you going to summarize this show up? I just like to know. It's like
we'll be ending
because top of the hour.
Yeah, we've done 2 hours. We'll just keep put a lid on it.
If you want to go about 5 over, we started about 5 minutes into the top of that first hour. If you want to have a full 2 hours on
that's
record.
Usually promo. That's usually messages and promos. So we sort of started on time.
You got it. Okay. All right.
I was just glad you guys got. I was glad you guys got on because of with we don't know how long the maintenance issue is going to happen on Studio A, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Revolution Radio. Monty's show, we got it over here on B. We were late doing it, but we made some time. And in Monty's, I guess we're going to shut it down, Monty.
Yeah, on the hour. I just find it interesting, like the whole that not meme, but that saying "leader of the free world." Have you noticed? I've only heard it twice in 4 years, because they didn't want to give the impression that Trump was the leader of the free world. They just they withhold that. So
put it in your shoe. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to say, is there a break? Will there be noise? Yeah.
Well, if there was, it'll be in about 3.
Yeah. I just wanted. I'll wrap up and then hopefully there is a break. If not, we'll just fumble through it for 2 minutes. Thank you for everyone for listening to Planet Collingwood for the last year. I've been putting the shows up on YouTube. I've amassed 531 subs since the start of the year. I started with 2 and now I'm up to 533 or something. So I'm halfway there to try. I think I need 1,000 subs in 12 months. So we'll slowly get there.
I don't understand subs.
Monetization. It basically, if I get 1,000 subs and in 12 months, and I get 4,000 hours of watch time, I can start to be monetized, and there'll be ads on my channel, and I can start earning money.
I actually have some very good news. I was just taking a peek at my YouTube channel. Tonight finally hit the 400 club. Woo!
Oh, nice. Well done,
400
sir.
subs.
Well done.
On the nose at Zerilath on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's interesting. As your numbers get higher, you get more people. So it's that network spread out thing. So well done.
Yeah.
400, nice.
I'm just happy seeing a lively chat room, which I don't get enough of those yet, but I can't wait till I have a lively chat room.
So, Gerr, where can people find you? You're on Studio A over the weekend?
Yes, 4 a.m. Saturday morning, 4 a.m. Sunday morning, the after hours, and I go till 5-6 hours on those 2 days. all night long, and we have some interesting times. Sometimes I'm solo, sometimes I got callers. I'm just on the fly, and Monty, you probably rubbernecked and heard me before. But anyway, that's the after hours, and I've got I got a few shows under my belt, I guess I could say, but I'm not one to boast. But I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, we're listener supported here at this station. We're coming up, ending our 9th year come January 1st. The 10th year is on our anniversary. It's going to be a weekend party here. I think some people will still be able to do their shows, is what I've got an idea of, because that happened on Christmas. People still do their shows. So give us a holler and give us a hoot and give us $5 from your bottom of your boot. We could use some donations. Over. Thank you, Monty.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Any hosts that pop onto the show, I try and get to share where people can find. Because I like that jib. I like the cut of his jib. I want to listen to his show. There's also, if you're not awake at 4 a.m. in New York on Friday, Saturday morning, or Sunday morning, you have the archive, so you can listen to it at your leisure. Steve, where's the 17 places on the internet that can find you?
17. No, I'm avoiding that number for the rest of my life. Anyway,
right, 16.
I wish I was just 17. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the way she looked was way beyond.
For the most part, you can find me on just about all the platforms at Zerilath. So like Gab, MeWe, Parler, Zerilath396 on Facebook. My D Live and my BitChute and my YouTube are the ones I'm growing the most because I really enjoy making videos. So like I said, I just hit 400 subs on YouTube. My BitChute, I need 28 subs to reach 28 followers to reach affiliate, and then I can start really playing with the system. And my BitChute, I'm kicking around 36 subs, and that one is like a lot. That one's kind of like a backup archive for various things. Right now with BitChute, it's kind of secondary, but BitChute is really good, and if you're going to be on BitChute, I would be honored if you'd sub to me.
Yeah, thank you very much. You can find me on Facebook as Monty Dean, on Instagram as Monty.Dean, on Twitter as The Real Monty Dean, and Steve, we've seen that I've changed my the face name is I'm now President-elect Dr. Monty Dean Skywalker. Just gets longer and longer. And I think tomorrow you'll be able to see me at Aldi in Forest Hill because I'm going to go buy stuff. So we'll come to the hour. That is Studio B.
And one more thing, you can find me in the post office. My poster up there says wanted.
Yeah, $5. So yes.
Only, though.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio. That was Planet Collingwood. I'll be able to put the archive up on YouTube so people can listen to it at their leisure. And if you feel like donating to me while you're at the YouTube channel channel page, there's a PayPal button, and send US money because it's so much more than Australian money. So $5 for you is $160 for me. So if you choose to, let's be fair. And we'll be back next year. 2020, we made it. And I hope everyone enjoys their holidays. This is the week out of time, especially in Australia. It's like, what day is it? Monday. Oh, bloody hell. And so, that's it. Thank you for all being here. And I hope whoever got to hear it, I hope you enjoyed it.